A little background before we jump in. Ephesus was the capital of proconsular Asia. When we speak of Asia in the Bible, we're using it as the Romans would use it, as one of their provinces, Asia Minor, as we might also label it. Not Asia like Far East in our common vocabulary, but Asia in the sense of the Roman province. And Ephesus was second only to Rome. If you can visualize that community. We obviously think of Rome as the capital of the known world in those days, but Ephesus was second to it in many ways. It was consecrated to Artemis, or Artemis, if you will. And she, by the way, is a goddess that is often regarded as a goddess with a bow and arrow that has a crescent on her forehead. And it was colonized mainly from Athens. And it's amazing the notaries that hail from Ephesus. Many of the great painters that probably aren't familiar to us, but are known to the students of the ancient world, were Ephesians. Pythagoras, well known in the field of mathematics, is said to have come from Ephesus. And the schools of many of the major Greek teachers, Parmenides, Zeno, and Democritus. Geographically, it had a very important harbor in those days. It later got ruined by silting from the river Cayster, and so it lost its economic leverage in subsequent years. But in the days of Paul, it had a great harbor. It also boasted the Temple of Artemis, commonly known as Diana. Diana of the Ephesians, of course, is very prominent in the book of Acts, in the scriptures. This temple was one of the great wonders of the old world. Took 220 years in the building of it, was 418 feet by 239 feet. That's gigantic even by today's standards. Had over 127 columns of almost 60 feet high each. It was four times larger than the famed Parthenon in Athens. It stood until 262 AD, when it was finally ruined, of course. There's also a very well-known theater that has been excavated on the west side of Mount Caucasus. It's the largest in the Hellenic world. It seated 50,000, and you've seen it here. We used it on a little title slide here. It is an incredible, if you go to visit the 7 churches of Asia in a tour, the one that's the most impressive of all those cities in terms of its present ruins and so forth is Ephesus. And it's really worth seeing. This is a picture of the incredible theater there and the way to the harbor and so forth. Very worth seeing. But further background, there are figurative references to Ephesus all through 1 Corinthians, among other places. The earliest New Testament allusion deals with the pious Jews at Pentecost, or the Feast of Shavuot in Acts chapter 2, makes allusion here. Paul stayed at Ephesus longer than he did any other single place that we have record of. And there's a widely held view that the gospel may have become more effective in this area than any other place or time in the history of the world. And that's quite a statement.